And you're back with On the Record with Kevin and...
Tiffany and Kevin. Well, we've had an intense conversation, but I would like to switch things up to this month is...
Kidney Month, right?
National Kidney Month.
Like
yes.
World Kidney Month, right?
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it?
Yes. Well, World Kidney Day is the 9th of March.
So what we got going on? Let's just
Oh, man, we've got some great stuff happening with Texas Kidney Foundation. You know, we are healthcare disruptors in the kidney space.
Disruptors, I like that.
Well, we are because we actually do something about early detection. It's not early detection. I'm just all about it. No, it's not. That's not it for us. We actually do something about it.
What are some of the things we're doing, babe?
Well, we have brought the latest technology, the best technology to our constituents.
Yep, here in Bear County,
and we bring
Texas.
free testing. And we've been able to do that because of the wonderful, illustrious, fabulous Commissioner Rebecca Clay Flores.
RCF. Right?
Yes, we call her RCF at home behind her back.
And also just the county commissioner here in Bear.
She's just amazing.
And then the county commissioners in Bear County overall, right? Have been
yeah, I mean, each one of the
health
commissioners has been amazing to us. Commissioner Justin Rodriguez, he came in and just shared his personal connection to kidney disease. They have all stood with Texas Kidney Foundation in bringing early detection to Bear County, and we brought in some technology that had never been here.
I think
before.
it's a good example, right? And what most people don't realize is that the university healthcare system here is like one of the best. It's a county hospital, believe it or not, and it's one of the best county hospitals in the state of Texas. And
it's one of the best in the country.
States, yeah,
it's one of the best in the country.
And so, but good place. And I know we've been bagging on people here the first two episodes.
You know, the beauty of where we live and the reason why we're able to see what's happening and the negativity that's out there is because we have such a positive community that we get to enjoy. We have some of the best doctors in the country here. We have some of the best hospital organizations here.
Yep.
University Health being
Methodist
one of those leads.
Really
yeah. I mean, we seriously get to benefit from that.
But even with that, there still has to be an outside party holding people accountable for processes and systems that don't work quite well for the population of people that they serve.
Well, for us, what we do is bring early detection testing, free testing, to underserved communities.
Yep.
And it's a very specialized field to be in because there aren't very many organizations that do that, and we are passionate about doing so.
I would never guess that we were passionate about any of that stuff. Right?
Our commissioners just believed in our passion and our purpose.
Yeah.
And we're willing to say, you know what, we'll put money behind this because we know that this particular group of people, this niche market, if you will, they need trusted allies. And that's what Texas Kidney Foundation
what we offer.
is.
And here's the thing, right? So I tend to be more numbers, Tiffany's numbers as well, but I generally focus strictly on numbers. Yeah. In Bear County alone, diabetes is the number 8 killer of people in our population. And then the number 9 is cardiovascular disease. And then the number 10 is chronic kidney disease, right? And when we say it's a silent but deadly killer, it is silent. Most people don't present symptoms until they're way into
until the latter stages right? of kidney disease.
And then the other part of it that we're banging a drum on, right, is that
it's the deficit.
It's
of
a deficit.
Knowledge.
There's a gap between when people are diagnosed, right, and versus what the tests are showing. And then it's mostly with PCPs who don't have a lot of knowledge about chronic kidney disease.
Well, we think of the word diagnosis as as soon as somebody sees that you have this disease,
They tell you, right?
they tell you. That's
Like
that's
cancer.
that's what a regular person. That's what us regular folks think. But in kidney disease, a kidney patient is not diagnosed until they're in stage 3 kidney disease for 3 months. That's what the recommendation.
That's when they meet the definition of to be diagnosed.
That best practices. That's what best practices are. In actuality, what happens is people generally don't get diagnosed until they're in stage 4. Well, right now we have, like we were discussing,
But when you're in stage 4, you've lost about what?
You've lost significant kidney function.
Yeah.
But like we were discussing previously, we have tools and mechanisms that can help you.
Oh yeah, unbelievable.
Early, but they must be applied. So there's a family of drugs called SGLT2Is, and they are the brand names that you would know would be Jardiance, Farxiga, Evocana. Those are 3 of them. And we're not being paid by any of these people. I wish they were. But anyway, those 3 drugs slow down or stop the progression of kidney disease, but they must be administered
in stages 1 and 2.
in stages 1, 2, and 3 to be the most effective.
And then we know that there's a population of people that those drugs are ideal for: people who have diabetes, people who have high blood pressure, or people who have
They're
a combination
having phenomenal
of that.
results.
Right? And their guidelines have been established by super smart people who have 4-digit IQs.
But right now, what is happening is that practitioners are being told to monitor. The best practices are to monitor in stages 1, 2, and 3 until you have the way that's being interpreted is they're monitoring without informing the patient, often without informing the patient. And that is a mistake.
Yeah, there's a deficit though, but there's a deficit in the information and knowledge that patients know, and the data bears that out. So I often get people
patients have to ask.
Well, hold on. So I often get emails from people, and I know they're from the healthcare industry, who say, who are you guys to be putting this information out? I'm not making a medical diagnosis. I'm not telling people what their health is. I'm telling people what the data says. The data from the smart people at the NIDDK say. The data from the smart people at the Association of Nephrologists say. Those individuals say that the people that should be screened in hospitals and practices for sure are people who have diabetes, high blood pressure, or a combination of the 3. That those 3 people are at the greatest risk of doing it, right? So that's what the smart people say.
And what we're saying is that hospitals and practices should
be
have a plan.
But most don't.
Should have a plan for early detection screening.
And so they want to put the onus and the responsibility back on the patient, right? Which is what drives me crazy. So I, as a patient, have to go in and educate myself and know, and we're not even talking about understanding the kidney, which is extremely complex, and I wouldn't even try,
complicated.
right? But they want me to understand the given process in which these decisions are being made, in order for me to ask the questions.
Because most people don't know that it is perfectly fine and best practices acceptable for your practitioner to see that disease at stage 1 and 2 and watch you progress
and not tell you
forward and not tell you anything.
And the reason they state, and remind me, Tiffany, in the YouTube video, I want to put a link to a video from a training done by KDIGO, the Kidney Dialysis Improvement Global Outcome. I think that's what it stands for, right? I want to put a link in there in which this doctor just flat out says that in 2019, when they were having a KDIGO meeting in Mexico City, they had patient advocates there saying, hey, patients want to know the information. Patients want to know the information. And then the physician staying up and saying, no, I really don't want to worry my patient with that information. And that's my right to do so. Right? So unelected people having an impact on my life that I bear the responsibility and consequences, right, for the outcomes.
Well,
right?
when my quality of life could be completely decimated by a decision that somebody else has made and I didn't even get input, a decision made about my health and I didn't get input, that's unacceptable.
Yeah, you want to meet some really angry people.
People get angry over
Talk to someone who's recently I think they're crashing into, they call it who has crashed into end-stage renal disease and is now on dialysis. Those individuals are hostile.
Yeah, especially people who have been under a doctor's care, and then all of a sudden they're in end-stage renal disease.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, what happened? Oh,
yeah.
You happened. You didn't eat
You
right. You didn't do what you were supposed to do. You should have asked. Meanwhile, if you look at the year over year, this person was steadily declining and nothing was said. Nothing was said. And there is data to support that when patients are told that their health is in peril, and that if they continue down a particular trajectory, they will end up in end-stage renal disease, X, Y, Z, whatever, that people will start to make adjustments. Give people the opportunity to make adjustments
but they're not going to.
And decisions about their health.
They're not going to. And I'll tell you
Well,
why.
they haven't been.
They haven't been. So the last 30 years, right?
Haven't been. And see, I get annoyed with these so-called patient advocates because I say the same thing. Who are you advocating for? Because if you are a medical professional, you're a nurse. You're a nurse who's received a transplant. You understand this industry. So you know this information. And if you've been in the game, the kidney space, for 30 years, I'm tired of these bootleg nurses who come up, because there are some amazing nurses out there. And then to have somebody that's claiming to be an advocate, that's claiming to be on your side, looking you in the eye and smiling in your face, knowing that this is what is happening. And you hear radio silence on this subject from them. They're not telling you, oh, by the way, you should probably ask these questions. 30 years of this, and you just figured this out. Oh my goodness, I didn't know.
Hold some of that fire for the last segment.
Jesus didn't tell me.
Tiffany, hold some of that fire for the next segment. We'll bring it up. And you've been listening to On the Record with Kevin and Tiffany on 9:30 a.m. The Answer, home of conservative talk radio.